Hey, this is Dave Blair coming at you from DaveBlairMusic.com, and I just want to talk about a little bit about levels and recording. As you can see, my messy desk here, but it's got some cool preamps, so that makes up for it. There's some Dave Blair CDs and an autographed Steve Vai CD. Woo! Yeah, great CD. Actually, it's not a CD; it's a cassette. Oh my God, what year are we in? 1980 called. He wants his cassette back. But it is autographed by Steve Vai, and actually this is one that I've had since like it came out, because I was into Steve Vai before anybody else was into Steve Vai. Anyway, what was I talking about? Okay, I want to talk about levels, because someone the other day, and I get this question a lot, what level should I record at? Should I record, as hot as possible, as long as it doesn't go into the red, or, could it be lower and I could just raise it? Is there a big benefit of recording at a really hot level? Because sometimes if you're looking, people are usually looking at this, so they'll see a track that's here, and these peaks are getting high. Is this peak here going to cause some distortion and mess up the track? This is probably like a big snare head or something. And here's another example. Now this is a really weak track. Most people look at that and like, oh my God, this is unusable. You can't even hear that. But I want to show, I think my answer is it's always better to err on the side of too low. If you're not sure, back that preamp off. Back it off. I'm not sure, well, just back it off. Because if it's too hot and it goes into the red, it could cause a crackle, a digital distortion that basically ruins the track. You really can't fix that. It's, you get that, it's like a tick or a pop, and you really can't fix that. And then you have to redo it. Whereas if it's too low, you could always just jack it up. In the digital medium, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to show an extreme example of that. Now look at this track. That track is hitting around negative 24 dB. So if you look at the meters, look at that. The meter isn't even, it's like, look at that. That's the volume that it's coming in at. That's how weak that track is. Okay, and I already jacked up 6 dB. I maxed out the fader. I maxed out the fader on the master. And now I'm going to also click. I'm going to add a compressor. I'm going to add some more gain. I'm going to add an EQ. How about if I add another compressor on top of that? And listen, now we're getting levels that are usable. And listen to the... Now that's a live track, so it's sonically imperfect. But as far as levels, the level being that low had really no impact. I was able to jack up the gain to a ridiculous amount in like 5 different places. And it's still, there's no real hiss. I mean, the hiss raised a little bit, but nothing that would be, anything significant if you're recording. So yeah, I'd rather have that than have something that had peaks that were, hitting the top and going zzz. So, I mean, normally you would say your peak should be maybe negative 6 dB, negative 10 dB. But if they're negative, 20 dB, whatever, you're fine. Error on the side of low. Whatever you think, it should be, where your peaks are going to kind of go almost into the red. Back it down another few dB. You have nothing to lose. You could, you're not going to ruin the track, but you will ruin the track by going into the red and getting your digital, distortion. So there's a good example. Stay out of the red. I mean, and don't just stay out of the red. Don't play with the edge. Just low. This right here is probably too hot. So something that's just maybe this little, 2 or 3 times bigger than this on the screen. I'm not even going to talk about dB as much, because a lot of people don't even think, don't know too much about that. But if your meter is hitting, around here in the middle, perfectly fine. Way better than hot. Don't listen to people on blogs who are like, you got to maximize the 24 bits to get the best tone. BS. It's nothing you're ever going to hear. And that's, you could have people on both sides arguing about it. Bottom line is, if you go into the red, you're going to ruin your track. If you don't, it's totally going to be usable. It's going to, sound as good as what you recorded. Have a nice day. Subscribe.